In 27 years as a chef, I took only 4 vacations. Serious. And no, that's not a brag. I mean, I was so fucking driven that just vacations didn't occur to me. And that's how I burned out. Because high performers don't burn out from doing too much. They burn out from tolerating too much. You start piling shit on your plate like a buffet line you never wanted to be a part of, right? You get a helping of tolerating too many late requests from colleagues because you don't want to say no because you're afraid you'll let your team down. Or maybe another second helping of tolerating going through the motions of life or tolerating a toxic job. And you keep tasting these dishes you hate thinking the next bite will be better, and it never is. And as men, we're taught to handle it, to man up, right? Don't complain. That's weakness. So instead of dropping the plate, you keep piling it higher and higher and calling it strength. Hey, I'm Kurt. I help men 40 and over stop tolerating lives and careers they've outgrown and regain control and, well, handle the other shit that comes up in midlife. So if that sounds like your cup of tea, hit that like and subscribe button. This video is for the high-performing man who's 40 or older, who's climbed the ladder, right? Built the legacy, but quietly miserable. I mean, you're the one people depend on. You're used to being the guy, the man with the plan, right? The guy with all the answers, the guy who gets shit done. But somewhere along the way, you lost track of the man you actually are. Let's talk about a man's 2 favorite words. I'm fine. When I was burned out after having worked, 27 years and only 4 vacations, asked me how I was doing, I'd say, yeah, fine. But I was fucking dying inside. I mean, I was barely hanging on by a thread. I was so burned. I also gained 60 pounds and I had a drinking problem during that time. Asked me how I was doing. I'm fine. I was even dealing with depression, but asked me how I'm doing. I'm fine. The hardest thing was like, fuck, this life doesn't even feel like mine. I felt like the co-star in my own fucking life. I mean, I had everything I wanted on paper, but it's like, why am I not happy? What the fuck's going on? But see, I just kept it to myself. I didn't ask for help, right? Because men don't complain. We don't ask for help. But shit, help is what I needed more than anything. But it pisses you off because you're used to being able to figure shit out. But that doesn't mean you can figure everything out. And you're too close to this. That's why you can't see it. And it feels like the harder you try to figure it out, the more you sink, like quicksand. When I went through this shit, I remember I would just get waves of anger, right? Not like Fight Club where I'd go walk on the street and pick a fight with some random dude. No, I mean, it could be something like I could just be sitting in my car, looking up, I don't know, maybe a tree, see a bird on a branch, and I would just kind of get pissed off, like, why is that bird in this branch, not that branch? It was weird, man. Or I could be sitting watching a movie or having a great meal, and I just get fucking pissed off. And I'm not one who's ever had an anger management program. I've always been very level-headed and quite calm. See, think of it like this. Think of it as I built a mansion. And that mansion is all the awards, the titles, the money, the status, everything that I built and earned in my fucking career. But you walk inside the mansion and it's empty. No furniture, no soul, just these rooms that echo of a version of me that I no longer fucking recognize. See, masculinity taught us how to build, didn't teach us how to feel. It certainly didn't teach us how to ask for help. Losing yourself when you approach 40 or older, it's not a mystery, man. It's just a recipe. It's a fucking bad one. So here are the ingredients. Stagnation, identity entanglement, overload, direction fall, perfection paralysis, overthinking. Here's some psychology behind what's happening. I wish I would have known this when I was going through it. Dopamine drops when the challenge disappears, right? And then your brain flatlines. If that goes on long enough, or if you kick it under the rug, like most of us do, your brain convinces you that this is how life is now. It's the new normal. So you accept it. That's called normalization bias. And identity anchoring, that's when you cling to the career or some other thing in your life that you're unhappy with because it's the only thing you've ever known to be. When I was a chef, I didn't know who I was without being a chef. My identity was being a chef. And even for the last 5 years of my career, when I was miserable because I lost my passion for it, I couldn't let go. Because who am I without that? Neuroscience shows us we choose familiar misery over unfamiliar fulfillment. It's not moral failure. You're not broken. You haven't made a mistake, and there's nothing wrong with you. Men are wired to just suppress all that shit. We like to solve, not feel, right? You ever ask your girlfriend who's upset, okay, let's figure this out. And actually what they really need is just for you to listen, not try to fix shit. Look, suppression isn't stoicism. It's a self-abandonment dressed up as discipline. Let me give you a different way to look at it, okay? And it took me until after I went through all this shit to really understand this. You're not broken. You're running on an outdated operating system. It's kind of like you need a software update. It's the best way to put it. And you don't need to burn your life down. See, it's easy to cling to something you're familiar with. Anybody can do that, even if it's causing you harm. But the real strength is letting go of what no longer fits. I mean, don't cling to it just because you once bled for it. The reason you feel the way you do, the reason you feel stagnant and wondering why does something feel off, is because you've been tolerating it. That's the root of it. And that's not a criticism. I'm not trying to make you feel bad. I went through it, and it's actually more common than you think. Because you're building a life, a career, you're chasing the goals, and then you get to some point, you're like, fuck, how did I get here? That's what happened to me. It cost me 5 years of my life and $250,000 in lost potential earnings. So if that sounds like you, try this exercise. I wish I would have known this, okay? Write down things that you've been tolerating. Don't just write a list of things you don't like. What have you been tolerating? Here are just a few random examples of things either I tolerated or my clients have to help you. Just tolerating going into a job you're not really motivated with, you don't like. Maybe you're tolerating just going through the motions in life. Or maybe your life has felt a little bit blah, right? You don't feel enthusiastic about things like you used to be, and that's been going on for a while. That might be something you've been tolerating. Or maybe you've been overweight for some time, as I was. I was 60 pounds overweight for about 6 years, but I just tolerated it. Or maybe there's something you want to start, maybe a project you started a couple years ago and you want to pick it up again, but you've tolerated just not pursuing that. Or it could be a hobby. Or maybe you're tolerating taking too many last-minute requests from your colleagues because you're afraid it'll make you look bad and that you aren't there for your team. Or maybe there's something you've been wanting to ask your significant other. Maybe you need help. Like one of my clients who needed help with the housework, but he kept it bottled up for years. Never said anything because he didn't want to start an argument. Those are just some examples to start with for what you're possibly tolerating. Those are some things you could start with. If that hits home and you're tired of tolerating a life that doesn't feel like yours anymore, write the word January in the comments, because on January 6th, I'm hosting a 3-day workshop where we are going to knock this out, help you understand what you're tolerating, how to overcome it, how to get back in the driver's seat of your life so you can start living your life instead of feeling like a passenger. Cheers.